Hey, if you're a non-believer, if you're an atheist, you'll like this book. Why? Find out. So this book, Rockstars on God, Volume 3, the third collection of interviews from the pages of Heaven's Metal and HM Magazine over the years. If you do not believe in God, you will like this book. Why? Because in these 24 chapters, 26 interviews with 24 artists, you will get to sit in on a didactic conversation, a two-way, equal voice, uninterrupted conversation between two people. These conversations are civil, they're kind, they show tact and respect and dignity for both parties. As an interviewer, I never wanted to browbeat or get my message across at the expense of the person being interviewed, the person who's answering the questions, the person that's doing the most talking, to step on them or to keep them from speaking or to overshadow them. I think you'll like it because the interview does those things. The interview lets the person talk. The interview doesn't try to paint the person as a believer or as fitting into or fitting out of a certain side of the story. Never got pushy, although I have to admit the interview with Rick Allen of Def Leppard in here, it's around chapter 10. I'm not sure what exactly chapter it is. Sabotage is chapter 9, Cinderella is chapter 8, Anthrax is chapter 7, Def Leppard is chapter 6. So chapter 6, I did get a little bit pushy with the drummer for Def Leppard. Now, when I say pushy, that's my own definition. You might read it and say you weren't pushy at all. But I did kind of use a lot more follow-up questions than usual. Sometimes when I'm doing these interviews, we will talk about music, their latest project, art, the music business, and then I'll throw in the question out of left field, what do you think of Jesus Christ? And I'll follow it up with, what do you think of his claims to be the way, the truth, and the life? No one comes to the Father but by me. And sometimes the spiritual part of the discussion will end after those two questions. We'll move on. Other times it'll deepen, it'll expand, but not always. So when I asked him about Jesus, he said, I'll use my fake British accent. I'm not imitating him. It's been a while since I did this interview. Over 2 decades. I think he was an amazing chap. He's revisited us quite a few times without us really realizing it. In what ways do you think he has revisited us? Through various people. I think in one way or another the message is carried on. What do you think about his claims to be the way, the truth, and the life? No one comes to the Father but by me, end quote. It's difficult to put your faith around something you cannot touch. It's one thing to believe, and it's another thing to really, I think it's really up to the individual. And then I followed that up with, have you ever thought about some of the historical facts about his actually walking on the earth and saying the things he said? And then I followed that up with, have you ever thought about how some of the documents and books we consider historical or accurate, like Homer or other ancient books, where the Bible comes under more scrutiny than some of these books, whereas in fact the Bible has more validity or things that back it up scientifically than these other books do? And then I followed that up with, so would you basically sum things up and say that truth is relative? Then I said, how would you react to the person that said that reality or truth for him was taking a gun and killing you or me who didn't agree with his philosophy? And then can you see a problem with being able to label someone or something as evil with an absolute manner and at the same time saying that there are no absolutes and everything's relative? And man, we're talking about evil and killing and kindness and love, Jesus. From my perspective, I certainly believe that what Christ said is true. some of the things he said, which I believe to be true, are offensive to some people. You know, he talked about hell and judgment more than any other person in the Bible. But if I focus on that, or if I focus in an uncivilized manner, neither you nor nobody else out there is going to listen to me. So even though I consider that to be heavy-handed and kind of pushy, it still showed a lot of respect and tact, and prefaced things with my opinion and my belief and whatnot. And I underscored the fact that if I did this in an uncivilized manner, neither you nor anybody else out there is going to listen to me. And that is a good example of why an unbeliever or an atheist will enjoy this book, because it is a discussion about spiritual things and music and lifestyles and culture and the music business in a civilized manner. It's two people talking as if they were sitting down and enjoying a big gulp of Pepsi or something, with no punches thrown. So that is why. What do you think? Join the discussion. Add some comments here if you'd like. If you have any questions, let me know. And be sure to check out the Kickstarter, all the reward tiers, and give this book a shot.